I was definitely the one that would squeeze the very last bit of toothpaste out of the tube, because in my mind it would get wasted if I threw it out. I never felt like I could have the more, so I always was living in. Hello and welcome to another episode of Unapologetically Rich. I'm your host, Shamina Taylor. And in this episode, we're going to continue our conversation when we were talking about money and wealth and spending and how we feel about it and the fear that it's going to go away every time we use it, and why that anxiety comes up and why we don't feel like we're, deserving of having the more, and how do we get comfortable with spending. One of the biggest things that I see amongst women, and I was going through the process of what I believe is the barrier of why women are so hesitant to really use money freely, and why are they in such a lack and limited mindset around it, and why is there so much fear every time there's this ability to use money. And I feel like I don't have that anymore. Like I don't have this worry that it's ever going to go away. I just know that it's always going to be replenished. Now, paying six figures in taxes, like that does punch you in the gut a little bit. But, I could sit there and go, well, this is a big deal. You got to pay all this money and it's a problem. But I could sit there and go, wow, I'm so grateful that I get to pay all these taxes. I get to do this. And I think that's something that people don't really understand, is that they get to rewire how they feel about a certain situation when it comes to money. A lot of the times people are still staying in the lack with when it comes to money. So there was a point in time in my life where I was just a discount girl. I never bought anything full price because it was a big deal. Now, I did buy, some designer purses, but it was like I had like a couple of them. I didn't have a lot of them like I do now. And there's no way I would have spent $1,000 on running shoes, or shoes for that matter, like more than $1,000. That would just be ludicrous. I never would have brought myself to do that. I was definitely the one that would squeeze the very last bit of toothpaste out of the tube, because in my mind it would get wasted if I threw it out. But I was always in the less environment. Like, it was always that I never felt like I could have the more, so I always was living in the lack. And this is why most women don't actually invest in themselves or buy themselves nice things unless they can justify it. Like, many women can buy like a nice car, Mercedes, and it's got to be a limit for them to buy a G-Wagon. Like, even though they have the money, that it's a very rare few, unless they're an influencer or they know that it's good for the brand or something else, would really take that next leap and do it, and they would never do it cash. I'll tell you that right now. It'll be like a fear, right? Oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And many people tell me, like, I can't wait to have one. Well, you can have one now if you decide that that's what you want. And here's the thing, this limit that most people live in, it's taught to us. It's taught. Like, I was just reading a post. I can't remember what the mentor was that put it. He was saying basically, if you don't have $5,000 or $10,000 saved up at $40,000, you have a money issue, basically, because if you can't, go and invest $5,000 somewhere, or you don't have 8 months of savings saved up, you've got a money issue. You have something deeper, because you're just living, basically, essentially paycheck to paycheck, client to client. You really don't know how to make and keep money. You're not a good steward of it, And he had some good points there, because I think that a lot of people don't realize that they're not really good with money. They've been in this feast and famine and survival mode when it comes to cash. That's just what they've known. But what he said was, if you're 40, and let's assume you started working when you were 18, for 22 years you couldn't save $10,000. And it was kind of like, I felt bad for some of the people that were commenting, and they're like, yeah, I'm really thrifty. I never buy anything. I save. I'm like, that's no way to live either, because there's going to come a point where we all die. We die. And so that money isn't going anywhere with you. So if you're not enjoying it to the fullest, and I mean like really understanding what I teach. This is the thing that I teach. I get people into the place where they know that they can spend money, use it, and they know that that money will always be circulating back to them, and it'll be coming back. And you can click your heels and say it 10 times. My money gets 10x. It comes back to me tenfold. This shit doesn't work. Okay. You've got to be in the mastery of the money. You've got to be in that consciousness of wealth. You have to be in the overflow, and you've got to be in the abundance mindset. There's so many things that have to be checked in order for you to get into that state. And when women come in, they're my millionaire club or my wealthy CEO, this is something I help them with. In the wealthy CEO, we help you in your business, because most people's businesses aren't producing the cash and the money and the income that they could be, because they're living in this lack. They're living from lack. And here's the thing, Dave Ramsey will tell you, pinch, scrimp, save, don't use. Okay, if you don't have the capacity to understand what it means to save, you're going to put money away and then have a fear of spending it. So you might as well not have it anyway, because you're not even going to be able to use it, because just because it's sitting in the bank account or you've locked it somewhere, it doesn't mean you actually have a good relationship with money, right? And so his method doesn't work. My method does, because now I'm like, hey, you're going to always keep making it. It's always going to be there. Wouldn't you just love to know that every time you spent your money, it would always come back? I mean, people don't understand that is what wealth consciousness is. It's a high level of consciousness around money and wealth. Like, you're not letting money have power over you. You're allowing yourself to just decide how you want to live, what experiences you want to have, where you want to invest your money, what you want to do with it. And it's not like living in the chains and the prison of, having to have your money locked up. Yeah, I've got money in my bank account. I'm not someone who's running her business like that's on empty. And I don't know how people do that. Like, how does your business not have any money right now? Like, you need to fix the issue. The issue is, like, it's a you thing, right? Because if you're making money and you're not keeping it and it's not growing and you still don't have money in your business, there's something going on there, right? Like, honestly, and I feel so bad for so many people because they don't realize that it's like, real quick, if you want my free emotional mastery PDF, so you can master emotions, balance your energy, and unlock unstoppable wealth and success in just minutes, click the first pinned comment below or the link in description. You'll be able to discover tools that help you reduce overwhelm, clear emotional blocks, and create success with ease without overworking and burnout. Enjoy, and let's get back to the video. This is a preventable, curable thing if you just go. But many of them want to come work with me and they're like, I don't want to. I don't know if I could give you, that's a lot of money. One lady told me she can go buy a car with the money. I'm like, okay, go buy the car. I think I said this before. I love this example. Is that car going to teach you and help you create wealth? But this is the limit. This is the lack. And when people see it from this place, they're still exchanging time for money. So they're always going to be in the hole. They're always going to fear it's going away because that's their frequency. So that's what they're going to attract all the time. And I feel so bad because that's a hard way of living. That's the hardest way of doing it. And here's another thing. When you don't place a value on something, you cannot expect to have that thing in your life. So I'll give you an example. I know somebody who makes a ton of money, lots and lots of money. For this person, they don't think that buying fancy cars is important. They think that that's an absolute waste of money. They also think that buying a nice house is a waste of money. They also think that buying nice clothes is a waste of money. And they would rather just have their money in a bank account, and they dress a certain way. And I get it. I mean, everybody's entitled to that. People celebrate so much when people don't use their money. When they're like, oh, well, did you see how humble they were? You would never know he was rich. Oh, only the broke people flash things or buy things. But the rich people, you'll never know when people are rich. What? Excuse me? What? Like, that mentality, assigning that meaning to that. Okay, well, that's what you believe. And there's a difference. This is the difference. When people use their money to fill the hole that's inside of them. And then there's other people that just enjoy their money. And they're not right or wrong, because I've been both of those people. But I'll tell you, when I was the former person, no amount of material things out there, or like physical things or money or where I went, what I did, filled that hole. It always remained empty. It never filled. It filled for a minute, but then it would drain out again because there was something missing inside of me. That's why I wrote my book, Unlocking the Quantum Woman, because that is what I had to do. I had to fill that hole. I had to fill the space inside of me that was missing, that success and physical things couldn't fill. And, for many people, they don't realize that when they're not valuing their desires in life, they're basically telling the universe, hey, you know what? I don't deserve this. I shouldn't have this. It's not important to have. It's actually a waste of money. It seems frivolous. I shouldn't be buying Cartier. I shouldn't be buying, Mercedes. I shouldn't be buying a Gucci or whatever it is. And, if you feel like that, then you're always going to feel like you don't deserve more. And I'll tell you, that shows up everywhere. That's an unworthiness wound that comes up for many people. So it affects your money. So if you don't feel like you're deserving of having nice things, then what are you bringing the money in for? Just to make you feel safe? Because if that's the only reason why, then you're always going to be in the fight or flight, because nothing will make you feel safe. No, money can come in, but you'll leave it in the bank, but you'll still have this feeling that you're going to lose it. It's going to go away every single time you use it. Every single time. That feeling, that anxiousness, oh my gosh, it could leave, it can go away. I'll never have it again. Everything will be painstaking. unless you've justified the purchase. If you've justified the purchase, then okay, well, it makes sense in your brain. And then you know what? You rewired that belief. Well, it's okay. I can justify buying these groceries or blah, 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 blah. But this is where people get really thrifty. And I'll see them, spending hours looking for flights and, finding the cheapest flight. They won't care about the airline. They won't care at what time. They'll fly at 5 o'clock in the morning. Oh, hell no, I'm not doing that. They'll do things because their money has got power over them and their decision making. And then there's the other side of it saying, well, no, we're being economical. I'd rather get the cheapest flight and then get a better hotel. All right, if that's what you want to do, I get it. But what about both? What about a really nice flight and a nice hotel? What about all those things? Does it have to be one or the other? Can it be both? And I want to teach you that if you tap into this type of wealth consciousness and frequency around money, you get to have both. You don't have to sit there and live from that mindset of what you grew up with scraping everything out, putting those shampoo bottles upside down before you opened up another one, literally having yourself feel like you're undeserving of the things that life has to offer. If it exists, why wouldn't you want it? I mean, really, because somebody else is more deserving of you. Someone else is more deserving of that. Someone else, what is it? And I think that this is, where you kind of hear this mentality. It's, don't talk about your money. It's greedy to want more. Look at all the greed. I can't tell you how many times I see people, those keyboard warriors online, when they're commenting on how somebody's using their money, like, what a waste of money. What a waste of money. They could be, saving a bunch of kids, somewhere, I don't know where they're always saying something. And I'm like, well, donate your money then. You give your money. Why do they have to give their money? Because they have more. I just want to say that to them. Like, why are they obligated to give? Because they figured out how to make more money than you. They're required to do your work. If you like this video, please give it a like below so that we know that you enjoyed it. Comment any questions you have and I'll answer ASAP. And if you haven't yet, it's time for you to stop holding yourself back from the more that you've always wanted. Hit the subscribe button and then turn all notifications on so you'll never miss a video. All right, let's hop back into the video. You should go give too then if you have a big say in what happens. I saw somebody say, well, why are they having the Academy Awards? And I'm like, because they can. And they said they should use money for the fires. Okay, maybe, but why are they obligated? This is the mindset that people are in because they have this mental garbage that's going on. And this goes deeper than money, man. I hope you guys understand that. Like, it goes way deeper than money. And this is why most people are like, well, I don't know if I should get it. And they're in this guilt, in this shame over desiring something and having the capacity to have it. But then this shame and guilt comes up and it's like, wow, why do I feel so guilty about this? You get to have it, honey. If you want that, you get to have it. I love when a woman gets a click, when she understands that finally she gets to have it. Like, I had a moment there in my mastermind. I think it was like 4 or 5 of the women were all buying multiple $1 million homes. One of the gals bought a $2.6 million house. Another one bought a $2 million condo. Another one bought a $1.9 million beachfront property. It was just more and more of that happening. And it's like another one built her house. It's just about $1 million. And, I'm looking at all these women and it's like, they're now, because the work we did, they're expanded into the more money came in, but they also lift the limit of what they thought was, justifiable. Because a lot of the times when you don't allow yourself the more and you don't live and you don't value things, like, you'll sit there and you'll keep holding yourself back from all the things you can have and holding yourself back from the success that you can have because you think you have to limit yourself because you were told that it's not good for you to want more. It's not good for you to ask for more. You should just be happy with what you have. And that's just a bunch of BS. This podcast is called Unapologetically Rich. And I want you to scream it right now. Like, I am unapologetically rich. Like, say it really loud. I am unapologetically rich. I am unapologetically rich. You don't have to apologize to anybody about the things that you desire, how much money you want to make, how you want to live, who you want to be. Like, if you want it, you just get to have it. Like, that's it, period. End of story. Done. That's it. So when you're looking at this fear about spending or investing in yourself, why don't you think you are worthy of that? Because you are. You are worthy of every desire that you want. Everything that's out there, you're worthy of it. You don't have to do something so that you can now be a good girl and get it. Listen, you're a grown-ass woman and you get to have it. Especially if you have the money right now. Lady, go out there and buy your thing right now, okay? Listen, I know, I still want a deal. I'm going to still look for a coupon code before I check out at Sephora or wherever because, but I'm not going to spend 3 hours looking for one, or I'm not going to check out because I can't find one. And I heard if you just put thanks 10, you usually get one. Apparently that works for everything. Or thanks 15 or thank you 15. Try all of those. Don't tell anybody you got it from me though. I still appreciate that. I love when things are on sale. It's amazing, but I will not stop myself from buying something full price if I desire it. I will not let the price of something stop me from buying it. That's just not going to be the truth of it. And if I'm flying first class, I'm flying first class. I'm not going to sit there and go, well, I'm going to wait for the prices to go down, then I'm going to fly first class. Because honestly, the $200 or $300 difference in price is providing me so much value. I love getting on the plane first. I love being in a big seat. I love that my seats are clients. I love that they serve me. I love that they give me food. I love that I am catered to while I'm on that plane. It makes me feel so good. And I usually meet the most amazing people, when I feel like talking on the plane, because usually I don't, because I like to read or, watch something self-development wise. And, it makes me feel good. So what is that $300 worth to me? It's value. And when you start seeing things from a value place instead of exchanging, $1 for something, or $2 for something, or $10 or $100 for this. If you only buy things because they're on sale, like you see something and you see, oh, well, it's only like $27. Well, okay, then I'll buy it. But if it was 57, you wouldn't, because 27 is more appealing to you. But that shouldn't be it, because you should just be buying that because you want it, not because it's on sale. And a lot of people buy things just because it's on sale, and they actually truly don't want it. But because it's discounted so much, their lack mindset and the way they've been programmed, they're like, well, for that value, I'll buy it. Well, for that value, I'll take it. For that price, I'll get it. But really, that is when you are not wired for wealth, when you think that way. When that's your predominant thinking way, your wealth consciousness is not wired for wealth. It was wired for lack. It's wired for, keeping it limited. That's what it is. It's like, I want to say the word like I'm holding you back. I used to be like that. Let me tell you, that was a way I used to think. I'm like, well, not for that price. I'm not doing it. It's never about the price for me, ever. It's never about the money. And when you make it about the money, guess what? It'll always be about the money, and you will not be able to get past that limit. It's so hard. So when you don't make it about the money anymore, oh baby, let's watch that cash flow come on in.